Chapter 3. Escape to the North. Then Harriet heard that she was going to be sold because the plantation was not doing well. The master had died. The master's widow could make more money by selling slaves than she could make by growing corn and wheat. Harriet was married to a free man, but she would still be sold. Then she would be sent away to the deep South in the chain gang. Harriet was sure that she would die on the trip. The problem was that she could never tell when she was going to fall asleep. If she fell asleep on the chain gang, the masters would never stop and wait for her. They would say that she was faking, and they would kill her. Now, Harriet had to try to escape. She talked about it with 3 of her brothers secretly, and they agreed to go with her. Before she left, Harriet wanted to let other people in her family know where she was going. She went to see her sister, Mary Ann, who worked in the kitchen of the slave owner's house. Mary Ann came outside to talk with Harriet, but just then the owner came riding along. Mary Ann ran back in the kitchen. Then Harriet began to sing to Mary Ann. She made up words that didn't say exactly what was going to happen. Harriet knew that Mary Ann would understand later. Mary Ann would know that Harriet was going north. The words were part of a song about going to heaven. I'm sorry that I'm going to leave you. Farewell, oh farewell. But I'll meet you in the morning. Farewell, oh farewell. That night, Harriet and her brothers ran away. After 1 or 2 miles, the brothers were afraid and they wanted to go back home. They didn't know the woods as well as Harriet, and they thought they would get caught. They made Harriet go back with them. A few nights later, Harriet left again. This time, she went by herself. Harriet didn't have a map of where to go, but she walked at night and followed the North Star. She was smart, and she knew about the woods. She also knew that a lot of the rivers went north, so sometimes she could follow a river. Along the way, some white people helped her. In the daytime, they hid her from the slave owners who were chasing her. At night, they fed her and showed her the way to walk. Sometimes they gave her a ride in a boat or a wagon. These white people hated slavery too. They were part of the Underground Railroad that helped the slaves run away. Some of the slaves in those days thought that the Underground Railroad was a real train that ran under the ground to the north. But there was really no train. The Underground Railroad was a name for the people who hid the runaway slaves in their homes and in their barns. It took Harriet many days and nights to reach the city of Philadelphia in the north. It is 90 miles from where she lived to Philadelphia, but it is longer when you have to hide a lot and go around rivers. Maybe she walked 100 miles. Maybe she walked 200 miles. But finally, she made it. Harriet never forgot the moment when she crossed the line that made her a free woman. Years later, she told a friend, "I looked at my hands to see if I was the same person now that I was free. For me, the air was filled with glory. The sun shone like gold through the trees and over the fields. I felt like I was in heaven.